All right, today we're jumping into something really cool. We're going to decode a specific and pretty fascinating interpretation of just one single verse from the book of Isaiah. But this one verse, it paints a picture of a future with two different world capitals. Okay, so here's the verse at the heart of everything. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 3. Now notice how specific it is. It says the law will come from a place called Zion, but the word of the Lord will come from Jerusalem. So right off the bat, you have to ask, why two different places? What is this vision of the future really all about? So, the key to unlocking this interpretation is realizing it's not about just one holy city. It's about two. Let's break down exactly what these two locations are supposed to be. Now, check this out. According to this view, we're not just talking about two cities in the same region, they're on completely different continents. Zion is described as a new Jerusalem, a future city to be built right here in America, as a gathering place for the tribe of Ephraim. At the same time, you have the ancient city of Jerusalem, the one in Palestine, which remains the gathering place for the tribe of Judah. And this quote from Joseph Fielding Smith really just lays it all out there, doesn't it? The whole idea is a future dual capital system, not one center of power, but two, both operating during that future peaceful era we know as the millennium. Okay, so let's focus on that first half. If Zion is going to be a future capital in America, what exactly is the law that Isaiah says will come from it? Well, this interpretation has a very, very specific answer. First things first, let's be super clear about the location. In this framework, Zion isn't just a metaphor or some nice spiritual idea. The sources define it as a literal, physical city that will one day be built in America, totally separate from the Jerusalem we know in the Middle East. And here is where it gets really mind-bending. When Isaiah talks about the law, you'd probably think he's talking about ancient religious commandments, right? Well, this interpretation says something completely different. It identifies the law as the foundational principles of the United States Constitution, which is seen as a divinely inspired framework for government meant for the whole world. And to back that up, Harold B. Lee pointed to this line from a temple prayer. It directly connects this prophecy to the U.S. Constitution, framing it as a sacred document, the very law that Isaiah prophesied would come from Zion. So we've got Zion and the law covered. Now, let's hop over to the other side of the prophecy, Jerusalem, and its unique role in providing the word of the Lord. See, Jerusalem's role is seen as purely spiritual. So while Zion is the seat of civil government, Jerusalem is the hub from which all religious truth, the word of the Lord, will be communicated to everyone. But, and this is a big but, it's not quite ready yet. According to this view, Jerusalem first has to go through this major purification process. Only after it's been cleansed and sanctified can it be ready to step into its prophesied role as a holy city and a global center for divine communication. Okay, so you've got these two major world capitals, thousands of miles apart. How in the world are they supposed to work together to form a single system of global governance? And this is where it all comes together. You can almost think of it like a global system of checks and balances. You've got Zion in America as the political capital, handling all civil law. And then you have Jerusalem as the spiritual capital, giving religious direction. The ultimate goal is this perfectly balanced world government with a clear separation of powers, headquartered on two different continents. Now, this isn't something that's just supposed to happen overnight. The sources actually lay out a kind of roadmap. It all starts with the gathering of Israel, then it leads to people going to temples, and only then is the city of Zion built and Jerusalem cleansed. It's a step-by-step process to get them ready for their final roles. This idea of two locations but one message gets reinforced in other scriptures too. Take this verse, for instance. It again pictures a divine voice speaking from two separate places, Zion and Jerusalem, but being heard as one unified message by everyone. It really hammers home that dual capital idea. So when you step back and look at it, this whole massive vision for the future of world government, all unpacked from a very specific reading of a single verse in Isaiah, it leaves you with a pretty wild question to think about. What would a world with separate civil and spiritual capitals, thousands of miles apart, actually look and feel like?